Welcome to Radiant Grace Yoga. My name is Dana Johnson, and I'm a midwife, a postpartum care provider, a registered prenatal yoga teacher, and I teach Hatha yoga as well. And I'm here to share with you my pregnancy prenatal yoga, and we will get started with a seated centering. So I recommend sitting on either a blanket or a bolster. If your knees are higher than your hips, then definitely, if you have a bolster, you can sit up on a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, maybe you take a couple of blankets you have at home and fold them so that they're high enough to give you some support. So I'll give you a moment to get situated. And then once you find a comfortable position, and this again just allows for your breath to come fuller into your body. And so once you feel seated and ready, I'll invite you to close your eyes. And if you prefer to keep a gentle gaze looking down the bridge of your nose, that is an option as well. And just beginning here with your first few breaths. Just breathing in any way that feels good to you in this moment. Breathing in a way that feels grounded and supported. Just feeling into the natural rhythm of your breath. With your next couple of breaths, just allow your hips to feel heavy and grounded. Feel where your sit bones meet the surface you're sitting on. So allowing your spine to lengthen and grow tall, reaching through the crown of your head. And just take another couple of breaths just to cleanse and clear into this present moment. We're going to take a hand to your heart and a hand to your lower belly, right over your baby. And with your next inhale, feeling the hand over your belly lift forward and rising, breathing down into your diaphragm and your belly, and as you exhale, allowing the hand to drop back. And just breathing again into the hand over your belly. It's expanding fully. And exhaling, releasing the breath all the way out. And so just a few more diaphragmatic breaths. As you fill into your belly, also fill into your hips and your side body. And feel the exhale release through the nose. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling back out through the nose. And so the hand over the heart is staying relatively still. And let's just take one more full deep breath in. Exhaling fully out. And staying with this breath, you can release your hands. Continue to breathe into the belly, placing your hands on the tops of your legs. We'll take a moment here to ground down through the grounding cord. So imagining at the base of your spine, growing a root or a cord down into the earth. Reaching down through the earth's crust, down and through the dirt, the rocks. It's reaching as far as you can reach it down into the heart of the earth. Knowing that there's a place for you to tap in. And once you find yourself rooted, just drawing energy and nourishment up from the earth, up through the grounding cord, up through your roots. Drawing up the hydration of the aquifers, the nutrients and the minerals, just drawing them up through the lower spine, reaching all the way up into the heart, shoulders, all the way to the crown of the head. Continuing to move past the crown of the head, reaching up through the sky. reaching past the atmosphere up into space. It's reaching up, gathering up the starlight, the stardust, the sun, and drawing that energy back down. Down through the atmosphere, down through the crown of your head, and meeting at the heart. And so we are marrying the earth and the sky at the heart, your sacred center. Let's bring our palms together in front of our heart for one Om to begin our practice, starting with one full breath in, and exhaling fully out. And beginning with your next inhale. Lowering your chin down, bowing into your heart, to your sacred center. Release your hands, flutter the eyes open, and lift your head. So we're gonna just switch the cross of our legs. So we've been seated through that centering for a little while. So let's just cross the legs, the other leg on front. And then from here, just take a breath in. Exhale fully out. And then we're gonna draw the rib cage over to the right. And then over to the left. And then lifting the heart forward. And then rounding the spine back. So we're just gonna flow, inhaling to the right, exhale to the left. Inhale the heart forward and exhale round the spine. So again, just move with the rhythm of your breathing. Just allow it to be fluid and soft. It's warming up the spine. We'll do one more side to side. Front to back. And then we're going to switch directions, moving from left to right. Inhale left, exhale right. Then we're going to round back, inhale, and then lift the heart. So over to the left, right, round the spine back, and lift the heart. One more time, over to the left, right, round the spine, and then just really lift through the heart, lift the spine, lift your gaze. And coming back to center, we're gonna drop the chin down towards the chest, roll the left ear to the left shoulder, and then lowering the chin down through center and over to the right shoulder. So just continuing to move at your own pace. Maybe you notice areas that feel a little more tight. Take a moment to pause and breathe into that space. And let's just do one more side to side. Lowering the chin back through center, lifting your head all the way up. Then we're just gonna go ahead and place your fingertips down on the bolster or the floor. We're gonna inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. Let your sitting bones root down. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the floor. So we're inhale, lift up as you round down, reaching for the sky, and exhale, reach the arms wide and down to the earth, lifting through the crown of the head. Earth to sky, continue to move with your breath. Arms are long, shoulders relax. Let's do one more up. Inhale, gathering up, and exhale, rounding down. So now we're just gonna go ahead and come off whatever you're seated on. You can move that off to the side. We're gonna come into a tabletop. So coming into our all fours, wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips, maybe a little wider if you're fuller term and you need to make more space for baby. From here, we're gonna inhale into cow, lifting your tailbone and lift your gaze. And exhale, round the spine, draw your tailbone down and under. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale, round. So you might even imagine right off of your tailbone you have a the tail that lifts up and over. And then exhale, drawing the tail down and through your legs. So we really extend through the spine. We really flex down and under. And we'll come back to our center tabletop. Then we're just gonna rock your hips side to side. Just nice big stretches like you're wagging your tail. And then we'll just come back into our center tabletop. Walking your palms forward, a palm print, or grabbing 2 blocks. We're gonna come into downward facing dog. If you have 2 blocks, you can grip your block with your hand to come into downward facing dog. So tuck your toes, press into your feet as you lift your hips up. So just taking a moment here, pedaling your feet, feeling into your first down dog stretch. Again, taking your feet as wide as you need them. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Using the support of the block will help if you have any carpal tunnel. Let's take one more breath. We're gonna bend the knees. With your knees bent, we're gonna lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Ground through your hands or your blocks, lifting up through your sit bones. Let's take one more breath. Shifting forward, we're gonna come back down to the floor. From here, we're gonna use our blocks, and we're gonna take your left foot out to the left. Make sure that your toes are pointing forward, coming into gate pose, bring your hands to your hips. And also make sure that there's a straight line from your ankle to your hip, or your hip to your ankle. And you can bring a block out to your right. Inhale, reach up overhead, and exhale over to the left. And support your hand on your leg, reaching out of your right hip. Let's take one more breath. And beginning here to hug baby in towards the back body. Supporting your abdomen. Inhale, rise up. You're going to take your hand to your block, reaching your left arm overhead. And you can change and adjust the height of your block. Reaching out to your right, spin your pinky towards the floor. Then we're just going to circle your arm down and around, taking a couple big circles in one direction, and then moving in the other direction. Taking your hand to the back of your head, press your head into your hand. And come back to center using your blocks. Bringing your knees under your hips, we're gonna take the right foot out to the side. Again, gauging that your ankle is in line with your hip. You're grounding through all 4 corners of your right foot. Inhale, reach up, and exhale to the right. Smooth, even breaths. Inhaling back up to center. Go ahead and grab for your block. You can take your hand to the floor as well. And take your right arm up overhead. Ground through your right foot and reach out of your right hip. Hug baby in. And inhale. Oh, we're going to circle the arm around. I'm going to have arm circles on both sides. And switch around. Taking the hand to the back of your head, we'll bend your elbow, press your skull. You can even cut the occipital bone, that little bony point at the bottom of the skull, and cup it and just give a little gentle pull. And release, come back to center. And then we're going to come back into tabletop. So if you're not using your blocks, just make sure you're really grounded through the first knuckle at the edge of your palms and your fingers are really wide. Clawing under the finger pads, tuck your toes, lifting your hips up and down. Nice, long, deep breath. Bending your knees, we're gonna walk to the top of your mat, and you can use your blocks if you have them, or you can also use a stool for your forward fold, using your hands on the blocks. Let your head fall forward. Maybe you take a bend in your knees. Perhaps you take your feet even wider. Inhaling, come up halfway, lengthen the spine. Reaching the crown of the head forward, tailbone back, and fold forward. Inhaling again, using the blocks or your hands on your shins, lengthen your spine, half fold. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, rise up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Round through your feet. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. You're gonna bend both knees, place your hands on the tops of your thighs and rise up with a long spine, walking your hands up, supported. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, palms together, and exhale, hands to the heart. Go ahead and release your hands down to your sides. We're gonna bring our feet together. And taking your arms up overhead, bring your palms together. We're just gonna create this really contracted, drawing in energy, grounded through your feet. Again, hugging baby in, so we're getting nice and tall. We're activating those stabilizing muscles, the centering muscles. Ground through your feet as you reach your fingertips towards the ceiling. And we're creating this strong vessel mudra, a full body mudra right now. And we're strengthening this vessel of your body, nourishing, building prana, life force energy. Again, feel through your feet as you ground and as you reach maybe another centimeter or two. And then taking your arms wide, turn your palms down as you reach your hands down to your sides. We're gonna come into Tadasana, mountain pose. So with your feet, so at the top of your mat, your feet are under your hips or maybe a little bit wider. And first, just take a moment, lift your toes, widen your toes as you set them back down on the floor. Palms together in front of your heart. Moving through Surya Namaskara variation. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, fold forward. Using your blocks or hands on your shins, maybe a gentle bend in your knees. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, we're gonna step your right foot down, back, and bring your knee down to the floor. Bring your hands to your left thigh. Contracting in, draw your left foot and your right knee towards one another, just stabilizing the pelvis as you inhale, lift the arms overhead, or keep your hands supported on your leg. Nice, long, deep, even breath. Lifting up through the heart, lifting up through your fingertips. One more breath. Bringing your hands down to the floor, maybe stopping at the blocks, making your way back to tabletop. Inhale into cow, and exhale, cat. One more cow, inhale, lifting the tailbone and your gaze. Exhale, round the spine. Walk your hands forward to palm print, or again, maybe using blocks for downward facing dog. Tap the toes, lift the hips up and back. 2 to 3 long, deep, even breaths. Now, if down dog is not feeling comfortable in your body, you might take puppy pose with your knees on the floor and your hips lifted. Grounding still through your hands. One more breath. We're gonna step forward with the right foot. So perhaps you drop to hands and knees, stepping the right foot forward, hands to your right knee. Again, drawing the right foot and the left knee towards each other, so we're stabilizing the hips, engaging the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, Anjaneyasana. Supported through your center, hugging baby in, lift out of your hips. Reach for the sky. Full breath in, let it out. Hands to your blocks or the floor. We're gonna step forward with the back foot, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhale, fold. Round through your feet. Inhale, reach your arms out to the side as you come up, or support yourself on the tops of your legs, palms together overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. And exhale, dive forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, left foot back, knee to the floor. Back to Anjaneyasana. Inhale, lift the arms. So first stabilizing and then rising up. Ground to grow. We're now going to bring the hands hands to the inside of our right knee, turning the toes out to 2 o'clock. And you might come up on blocks. And now imagine that there's a pencil pointing down from your belly button. And we're going to begin circling around. So you're drawing circles on your mat, keeping the inner edge of your right foot rounded down. We don't want to come onto the outer edge, and stay rooted through that right foot. So a few more circles in this direction. And this is a great movement for getting baby into a good position, into that optimal fetal position. And then switching directions. It helps to open the pelvis and help to relieve some lower back and hip discomfort. Coming back to tabletop, take your right foot back, hands under your wrists. Wrists under your shoulders. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, and exhale round. One more, inhale. And exhale. Setting up for down dog, blocks or without. Come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. 2 to 3 long, deep, even breaths. Grounded through the 4 corners of the body, grounded through your hands, through your feet. Even weight. If you're in puppy pose, still grounding. Take your left foot forward, bringing your right knee to the ground, coming back into that low lunge, Anjaneyasana, stabilizing as you rise. Inhale to lift. Bringing the hands back to the earth, to the inside of your left foot. We're going to turn the toes out to 10 o'clock this time, and then circling around. Imagining you're drawing circles on your mat. The heel on the left foot is grounded down. Smooth, even circles. And go ahead and switch to the other direction. We're going to come back to center. Heel toe your foot straight forward so the toes point forward. Tuck your right toes and step forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. Ground down to come up. Inhale. Or bend your knees and support your hands on your thighs. Exhale, hands to the heart. Now we're just going to take our hands to our hips and begin to step back with your left foot, coming into a high lunge. And you can take time to step back to find the right distance. And just take a moment to peek as your knee over your ankle. Firm the legs, feel your feet grounded down. When you're ready, inhale, lift the arms up overhead for high crescent lunge. So we want to stay rooted and grounded. You might keep your hands on your hips or on the top of your leg. If you're finding a lot of wavering, your balance is a little off, you might even take a shorter stance with your feet. Let's take one more breath. Inhale. Exhaling, and then open your arms out to the sides. Warrior 2. So the left heel is going to drop onto the mat. Let the block fall over. Again, your knee is over the ankle. Ground into your left foot. Find your gaze over your right fingers. Firm the legs and take a breath. Turning the right palm up, reverse your warrior. You can take your hand to your leg, take your right arm overhead. Side angle lunge, right elbow to the right knee, left arm reaches up and over. If you need a little more distance, you could take your hand to the top of your thigh bone. We'll stay here for another breath or 2. Feel the weight evenly into both feet. Spin your pinky towards the floor to open that left shoulder. Ground down through your feet. Inhale, rise up, warrior 2. Taking your hands to your hips again, we're just going to pivot so our shoulders are parallel with the front of the mat. Step the left leg out a little bit wider for warrior 1. Firm the legs, hug the baby in, and then lifting the arms overhead. Ground down to rise and reach up. One more breath. We're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. So we're moving into a variation of humble warrior. Squeezing, hugging the shoulder blades onto the back, and straighten your elbows so the arms are straight. Lifting up through the heart. So you could stay right here, or if you like to come into a full humble warrior, you might even have to come out to the side a little farther to make room for baby. Taking the hands over your head. Strong in the legs, grounded through the feet. Press down as you rise up. Inhale, lift the arms, warrior one. Bringing the hands back to the hips, we're just going to lift the left heel up. Stepping the left leg forward a third of the way. Ground through your right leg as you lift your left knee. Lift the left toes. And bring the left foot to meet the right foot. Coming to the other side. Just take a moment, hands on the hips, and then step the right foot back. High crescent lunge. So finding a distance that feels supportive, strong base, left knee over the ankle. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Maybe you keep your hands supported on your leg. Deep breath in and exhale it out. You're still breathing a little into that belly, breathing the diaphragmatic breaths. Opening up warrior two, bring your right heel to the earth. Maybe going a little wider or even a little shorter to support your body and balance. Left knee over the ankle, find your gaze. Turning the left palm up, inhale, reverse your warrior. Side angle lunge, left elbow to the left knee, right arm reaches up and over. Ground through your back foot. Reach out of your right hip. Come back to your breath. Ground down to rise and lift the torso up, warrior two. Hands back to your hips. We're going to pivot the shoulders parallel with the front of the mat. Step the right foot out a little bit wider. Going as wide as you need. Ground through your feet. Firm the legs. Lift the arms overhead. Breath moves into the belly. Bringing the hands behind the back once again. Interlace the fingers. Hug the shoulder blades back. Lift through the heart. So again, you might stay right here. Humble warrior. Or bowing forward to the inside of your left knee. Make sure you're moving your left hip crease back so that we're not sticking our booty out to the side. We're staying centered. One more breath. Grounding through the feet. Inhale, rise up. Lift the arms overhead, warrior one. And release the hands to your hips. Lift your right heel. Step forward a third of the way. Step onto that left leg. If you get wobbly, that's okay. Lift the right knee. And come back, Tadasana, hands to your sides. Take a breath. Bringing your palms to your heart. We're now going to come into baby dancer. So bringing your weight into your right foot. We're going to bend the left knee. Grabbing your left foot, and you can come to a wall, using a wall to support you. Line your knees up so that they're in line with each other. Draw your knee towards the floor, beginning to engage and hug baby in. Lift tall. Begin to kick back into your left foot, reaching your right arm forward. So only going as far as you feel. You can stay grounded. Keep pressing your foot into your hand. Again, wobbling is part of it. Go ahead and rise back up. Gently releasing your foot so it doesn't slingshot. And come back to mountain pose. Other side, weight into your left foot. Grab for your right foot. Bring your knees in line with each other. Draw your thigh bone down so we're lengthening through that right side of the hip. Left arm can reach up as you kick into your right hand, pressing your foot into the hand and hinging forward. Just noticing your balance on this side, finding your drishti, just that focus point that's non-moving and centered. Inhale, rise up. Gently release. Bring the palms together. Maybe close the eyes and just feel. Just notice the sensations through the body. Notice the breath. Release your hands and open your eyes. So now we're going to turn the toes out. The feet are just a little bit wider than the hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, and then we're going to roll the spine down as you sit the hips back, only coming as deep as it feels okay in your body, and then ground through your heels as you inhale and rise up. Exhale, rolling the spine down into some form of a squat. It might be high. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, maybe coming a little lower down now. Ground to the heels. Inhale, rise up. My feet could be a little wider. Let's do two more. Exhale, roll it down. Just a moving meditation. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, this time coming into a full Malasana, full squat. And if you like, you can take a block under your hips. If you have a lot of pressure from baby, then a block might be nice. Taking your elbows to the insides of your knees. With a block or without a block, we want to make sure that we're lifting our tailbone back behind us and then lifting up through the heart. We don't necessarily want to round under because that can really contract your pelvic floor and tighten it. So we want to lift the tailbone back. Now I wouldn't say that that's for everyone, but it's a good rule just to keep the tailbone moving back. Just come back to your breath. See if you can soften in your belly. Soften in your breath. Let's take one more inhale. And exhale fully out. You're going to bring the hands to the floor and find your way back down into tabletop. We're going to do those little tail wags, hips side to side, just to release your hips after Malasana. Let's do one more. And then now we're going to come in to camel pose. And so we're going to use two blocks. Take your blocks so they're right by your ankles. And this can actually, when we were doing Warrior One, we're lifting up, or we're lifting through our heart. And in Ustrasana, camel pose, we are going to be lifting through the heart. That can really help with heartburn. So I wanted to point that out because that can be a very common symptom, annoying symptom in pregnancy. So we're going to have the blocks behind us. First, take your hands to your hips. I preference tucking my toes. You don't have to, but that's how I like to do it. So we're first just going to, again, hug baby in and lift long, lifting up through the armpits, lifting through the side body. Shoulders are soft. Begin lifting up through the heart. And as you lift the heart, you might gaze up at the ceiling. We're still hugging baby in. So you might stay right here with your hands right on your hips, or you have your blocks to reach back for, starting with one and then maybe moving to the other one. You could also just do one. Keep breathing, keep lifting through the heart. And then rising up, maybe one hand at a time, lifting your head, and then coming on to your heels. Go ahead and rest your palms on the tops of your legs. Softening through the breath. Go ahead and open your eyes. And we're going to come onto our seats. You can move your blocks out of the way, perhaps keeping one handy. And then I like to sit on my blanket for this pose. I'm going to take the legs out wide, Upavishta Konasana. So the knees and the toes are pointing straight up. You can take your hands to the sides of your hips so that you can keep the spine lifted and tall. And taking a breath here. If when you remove your hands, you can still stay lifted, go ahead and remove your hands. You can rest them on your legs. You might even come into a forward fold. If you still need the support of your hands, just lift tall, reach to the crown of the head, bringing your breath into your belly, and exhaling the breath fully out. And you can play around with it. You might give it a try, see how it feels to fold forward. Sometimes having a block, you can take a block, maybe 2 blocks, and rest your forehead on. Noticing what your toes are doing, if they're beginning to turn in or turn out, see if you can point them back up towards the ceiling. And here is an opportunity to allow the body to rest. So we have some engagement through the legs, but then the shoulders, the face, the belly is soft. We'll hold here. Just however it feels most relaxed. Let's take a couple more breaths. If you're folded forward, go ahead and lift your head and walk your hands back. Supporting from the backs of your hamstrings, go ahead and pull the knees up and bring the soles of the feet together. Before we come fully into this pose, Baddha Konasana, I'm going to recommend if you have a bolster, when you bring your feet together, if your knees are higher than your hips, to sit up on a bolster, if you have it. And even sometimes it requires a blanket and a bolster. So I'm going to sit back so that now that I sit in Baddha Konasana, my knees can be lower than my hips. Same thing here, you might support yourself with your hands to the sides of your hips. Again, to stay lifted through the spinal column. Ground through the heels, and make sure the heels are as close to your pubic bone as they can be without it being uncomfortable. Ground through the heels, so we're pressing the heels together and then lengthening from the inner thigh out to the inner knee. So we continue to ground through the heels, lengthening out from the inner thigh to the inner knee, out to the sides. And the toes are lifted as well, so there's some action in the toes. And here we want to stay soft in the belly. A couple more breaths. Press into the heels. Move the knees out. So it's not so much we're trying to press the knees down, we're just lengthening out to the sides, and that tends to give them an opportunity to lower. Let's take 2 more breaths. So noticing if you're holding or feeling any tension, can you breathe into that space? And then to come out, we're just going to support our knees by bringing them towards each other, taking the legs out in front, and we'll come off of the bolster. Move your things off to the sides. Drawing your right heel in, left leg out to the side. Just slide your hand along the leg for a side stretch. Maybe your right arm reaches up overhead. Grounding through the right sit bone, the right hip moves down. And inhale, come back up. Supporting your leg as you bend your knee and switch sides. Left heel in towards your pubic bone. Slide your hand along your leg, maybe grabbing your ankle, your toes, left arm overhead. Again, left sit bone is now grounding down. And inhale, rise up. Supporting your leg to draw it in. Moving into Shavasana. So if you are greater than 20 to 22 weeks, I recommend Queen's Pose if you have 2 blocks and a bolster. So you're going to set up 1 block at its highest setting, a second block at its medium setting, and then you can place your bolster on top, bringing your sacrum up to, or your lower back up to the base of the bolster, and you're gonna recline back. And this is where you can hang out for Shavasana. If you're less than 20 to 22 weeks, you can come onto your back for corpse pose, just laying on your back. The other option would be, and sometimes queen's pose just isn't comfortable, so this might be the best. Lie on your left side using a blanket, a bolster, anything you have that you can rest your right knee up and over, maybe even something under your head, so you can fully relax into Shavasana. Just allow yourself to get fully comfortable. If you need to make any further adjustments to support your body, bringing your awareness back to your breath and breathing in through your nose and back out through your nose. Allowing your breath to bring you deeper into a state of rest. Just noticing if there are any parts of you that are still holding. See if you can allow it to soften into the earth, feeling the support underneath you. Feeling the earth rise up as you inhale, and as you exhale, just resting into that support. And this will complete our practice today. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana for however long you need. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You might even slip off into a nap. And just know that I am here for you for any further practices or through your postpartum period with my postpartum yoga classes. You can find my link at the bottom of this page for Radiant Grace Yoga with Dana Johnson. Namaste.